Well, we had a lot of questions, and we got answers, or we think we got answers on Saturday night with a massive trade. It was massive because of the name or names and franchises involved, not because of the compensation, but a massive trade that changed the landscape and the outlook for two of this league's most storied and flagship franchises. And being the Steelers being a storied and flagship franchise. Russell Wilson, he visited the Giants. The Giants said, hey, ain't no guarantees you're starting over Daniel Jones. So Russell Wilson went into Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And Mike Tomlin, And Mike Tomlin did his thing, his Tomlin thing. I'm sure he dropped some Tomlinisms on him. And in Pittsburgh, I know you've been to the facility. When you walk upstairs in the facility, you walk by this row of Lombardis. And you can't help but be filled, and you can't help but feel the history and the mystique in that building, in that city, really. A city, I beg your pardon, that you went to school, what was then Point Park College. It is now Point Park University.
Shout out
the Steel City.
Shout out the Pioneers. The Pioneers.
You know the Steel City
sir.
Quite well, as does Russell Wilson. He understands the history. And may I say, my man looks good in black. Here is Russell Wilson at his introductory press conference.
I was fortunate to have several teams call and all that, but this is the place that I wanted to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and to wear the black and gold. It's a true honor. It's tradition. It's history. There's 6 trophies in there, and we got to go get a 7th.
Russ, do you come in here with the mindset that you are the starter?
I come in the mindset of just being the best version of me every day. I think that's always the plan. What we're trying to do is, for me, I want to help our football team win. I think that's the job of the quarterback, role is to help the Pittsburgh Steelers win, and that's always been the goal every day. And so, the goal is to, get more trophies and to do everything we can to win. Listen, I've never been a numbers guy. What I care about, number one, is wins. That's the first thing. The second thing is touchdowns do matter. Those help those wins and solidify them. So, I'm used to being in the end zone, and we got to make it a priority to get in there as much as we can.
Never been a numbers guy. Okay, Russ. Anyway, but we're not gonna focus on that. We're not gonna focus on that. All right, look. But here's the thing. Speaking of numbers. I don't know what the early odds are, if there are odds for this right now. But my man Omar Khan, who I've known for 20 years, another son of New Orleans. Omar Khan is the early favorite for GM of the year, and who's to say how this works out? But I can't recall a more shrewd and a more cost-efficient overhaul of a positional room, especially a quarterback room, than what the Pittsburgh Steelers have pulled off by getting the Denver Broncos to pay Russell Wilson to play for the Steelers, to pay him $39 million where they only pay $1.2, and to get Justin Fields on a rookie contract for a grand total investment in these two quarterbacks of $4.44 million. Michael, you and I were going back and forth, and we played the flashback a second ago about which of these guys we would prefer to have. Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin and the Steelers and the Rooney family said, damn it, why not both? We'll take all the reclamation projects. 4 and 5, but that's us. 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
We'll take them both.
And I was laughing off the top because, first of all, I didn't catch the first time that really nasty takedown you had of Russell Wilson. You said of the fumes that he's running on. That was just that was so unnecessary. Like, why'd you have to do that? Why? I just want to know why. That's one. Two,
you make it personal. I've said this before. You make it personal when you say stuff like that.
You said to me,
make it personal.
I didn't say that about
because you make it bigger than it is.
You said he's
make
running on
why?
the
Why?
fumes.
Why'd you have to say that? As if there's some reason other than football.
Fumes.
Shoot.
The man had what? How many touchdown passes did he have last year? Twice as many touchdown passes last year as Kenny Pickett in his career. Kenny Pickett in his career has 13 touchdown passes, which is unbelievable in 2 years. 13 touchdown passes? Are you kidding me? And Russell Wilson last year had twice that many. So that's one. Two, you said he looked good in black and gold. I like, of course it's Russ, and I'm going to give his wife credit for this. The black suit and the gold is really gold. I mean, that's a nice touch, though. That's a nice touch. I'm not going to put in like a gold pocket square. I'm just going to wear a gold chain. What's up?
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the Steelers
went to Mike Tomlin's barber and whatnot. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. Got the line. He's
crispy.
almost. He's close.
crispy.
Trust me. You about?
you almost
Russ,
got to come home. You about to come
You're
home?
about 6 months away. You're about 6 months away. I bet you. I bet you Tomlin goes somewhere in the Hill District, get a nice line. That's what I went back in the day. Somewhere in the Hill, get that nice line. 6 months, and you're gonna have to give up the ghost. You have to give it up because I can see it right there. I can see it. It's almost time to be bald. But I think the Steelers disagree with you, Michael Smith. I think the Steelers have made it clear that Russell Wilson is their starting quarterback and that Justin Fields is here to do what he probably should have done from the start. I know they have to say this. They have to play the game.
I was about to say, respectfully, the f*** does that matter in March? Okay? It's like, I mean, because I'm sure they told him, you're going to start when they signed him. You know why? Because the alternative was soft-ass Kenny Pickett.
Losing him.
Well, not just that, but was soft-ass Kenny Pickett, who ran from the quarterback competition to be Jalen Hurts' backup. So let me get this straight, sidebar. Let me get this straight, okay? University of Pittsburgh's own Kenny Pickett, guy that they knew, guy that they were comfortable with. He was literally in their building. Okay, Kenny Pickett says, I was misled. I don't want to compete with 35-year-old washed Russell Wilson. I'd rather go for certain be a backup.
No, he's washed, and I made it personal.
I was in character. I'm in character. I'm saying if I'm Kenny Pickett, why am I being run out of town by Russell Wilson? Right? Like as opposed to running into the arms of Jalen Hurts. Like, I mean, at a certain point, you can't throw a tantrum and cut off your nose to spite your face, which is what he did, okay? But enough about Kenny Pickett. He's destined to be a backup. Let's not even waste time on Kenny Pickett. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight for his job because to me, and reportedly, he was supposed to do a workout with the receivers and he canceled it when he found out about Russell Wilson.
He canceled the workout. See, that's the bigger sin right there. Look, hey, everybody, your receivers they'll get down with you off campus. I don't know whether the workout was in Jersey, where he's from, or somewhere else, maybe a nice destination. You know, the good quarterbacks take these receivers somewhere fun. Take them somewhere sunny. Take them to Miami. Take them to LA.
Yeah.
Hey, that's right. Yeah. We'll hang out. It's not really about throwing, it's about bonding. We'll throw do some pitch and catch, but we'll also have a good time and just hang out and be boys. Like, your fellas will understand if you have a problem with management. You know, ripping the boss is an American tradition. Everybody understands that. But you canceled our workout? So you didn't get what you wanted, so you just go cancel our hangout, bruh?
Well, and apparently this is a continuation of his temperament.
Now you lost the room.
Of his temperament when it came to Mason Rudolph at the end of last season, right? But here's what I'm saying. Like, read the quarterback room. The Steelers are paying Russell Wilson $1.2 million. That comes with no guarantees. They have less of an incentive for Russell Wilson to succeed than they do Kenny Pickett to succeed. And a lot of people, myself included, tried to give Kenny Pickett a pass, better passes than he often threw, because he was dealing with Matt Canada. Okay, so now you got Arthur Smith, in theory, an upgraded offensive coordinator. Like, I don't care what they say in public. I don't care if Russell Wilson is QB1 on a depth chart in March, if he's introduced at a press conference as a starter. You're always competing. It doesn't matter what they say.
Right.
You're always competing.
I know.
And so now going back to Justin Fields, I don't care what the Steelers say right now. This is a quarterback competition. Does Russell Wilson, because of his body of work, because of his reputation, because of he was the first guy in.
Keep going. Maybe you'll get there.
No.
Keep going.
No. Or does he come in? Does he take the first snap and
quarterback? Or he's better playing the position. And maybe Justin Fields has more upside in next year or the year after. But right now, Russell Wilson
take the first
is a better
snap.
quarterback.
That's all he's guaranteed to do. He's guaranteed to take the first snap in off-season practice. He's guaranteed to take the first snap of training camp. Okay, he may even start the first game. But I'm telling you, I ain't talking about no special package. I ain't talking about no read option package. I ain't talking about using Justin Fields as slash 2.0. My bet, your money, Justin Fields will see the field and be the Steelers starting quarterback. And that 6th-round pick in 2025 will, in fact, be a 4th-round pick in 2025 because I have him playing more than 51% of the snaps this year. He will supplant Russell Wilson in this offense. And that, by the way, multiple things can be true. Russell Wilson could be an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. Russell Wilson could be no-brainer, a no-brainer bargain signing by the Steelers. And Russell Wilson could find himself in a better position to succeed in Pittsburgh than he was in Denver for a litany and a myriad of reasons. Okay? At the same time, Justin Fields, and we'll get to Chicago in a second, Justin Fields was failed in Chicago, and that's why they did him a favor. But let's stay in Pittsburgh for now. Floor is yours.
You said he was failed in Pittsburgh?
No.
Chicago?
In Chicago. We'll get back to that. No.
I just want to hear what you said. I want to know.
Yes, he was failed.
You said
failed.
Chicago
the Bears
failed him?
Failed him. Yes, they failed him, which is why they did him a solid favor. But go ahead. Continue on your rationale why Russell Wilson is clearly a better quarterback than Justin Fields right now. I know what the numbers say. I know Justin Fields was awful in the fourth quarter.
Listen,
I know what his career numbers are. I get it.
We don't have to go there. We don't have to go to the advanced metrics. I mean, we can take it way back.
It ain't got to be advanced. Keep it. Be basic counting. Counting stats.
We can go 1 + 1, 2
Fields
plus
does not
2.
look good. The numbers do not support Justin Fields. Yeah.
You said last week, I think you said, you made a reference to, one of my favorite comments. I judge you by what you do, not what you say, right?
I can't hear what you say because I see what you do. Yeah.
And look what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. What the first thing they did, immediately, they needed to solve the quarterback problem. The first thing they did, and I know it was sequence. You could say, hey, the sequence, the guy was available, so they went there first. But Justin Fields, we've known for a long time that the Bears are going to have the #1 pick in the draft. We've known for a long time that they were not going to keep, it was pretty obvious, especially at the Combine. It's pretty obvious they weren't going to keep Justin Fields. They were going to go with Caleb Williams or somebody else. First thing the Pittsburgh Steelers did when they wanted to make a move at quarterback, first thing they did was contact Russell Wilson. They got Russell Wilson in the building first because it was most important to get him in first.
He was also free. He's also free. There was no negotiation to be done with the team. He had permission to seek a trade.
If using that logic,
sure.
I'm with you. See, I'm on your side here. He's free, which makes him attractive. But using that logic,
no, I mean like free to talk to him.
Half of the teams in the NFL should have been going after Russell Wilson. I really feel like that. He's better than a lot of these quarterbacks who signed. He's better than Gardner Minshew.
Didn't we already do this?
Okay. Hey, I'm just saying, I know. But it was. But those guys cost him $8 million. I'm talking about in a cap space. In a cap league, when you're trying to put the puzzle together, the Patriots paid $8 million for Jacoby Brissett, and Russell Wilson is there for $1 million. Come on. That's a no-brainer for most of the teams. Whether you think he's great or not, $1 million, I'll take a chance.
Sure.
It is.
Okay. No. But there's taking a chance, and there's do you prefer Russell Wilson? Sorry to interrupt you. There's taking a chance for 1.2, which is a no-brainer. But do you prefer Russell Wilson over any of the guys that were signed for more money? But they were signed for more money, and those two things are mutually exclusive. What you're saying about Russ and how you can't believe that more teams weren't after Russ would be the same thing that I would say about how the Steelers got Justin Fields for a 6 and 25. And it's like the market seems to disagree with us about both these guys. You about Russ and me about Fields.
Okay. Let me just say it this way. I told you the stats. This is very simple. Justin Fields played 40 games, 38 as a starter. He won 10 games. He won 10 games. That's just
okay,
hard.
so now, see?
That's hard to do.
Pet peeve.
Yes, and quarterback stats count for me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
They
not.
count for me.
No,
Yes.
it's not.
Yes.
Wins and losses are not a quarterback stat.
You
They're
show
not. No,
me.
they're not.
You show me.
No, they're not.
Show me a good quarterback. Show me any good quarterback. I will let you have the field. I will give you the merger. I will give you the last 50 plus years of professional football. And you show me a quarterback who is 18 games, what is it? 18 games under 500? Am my math right? 18 games under 500 and is a good quarterback. Show me one, and then I'll apologize. But I don't think you can. So those quarterback stats, every now and then,
So
there's some exceptions. Like, you're from New Orleans. You mentioned New Orleans earlier. You know, Archie Manning might have something to say about it. Hey, I came to a bad situation. I was a good quarterback.
So check this
whatever.
out.
But
just to show you how I'm a fair man. I'm a peaceful man. Just to show you how I understand what you're saying. Okay, just to show not only do I understand what you're saying, but just to show you that I don't have blinders on for Justin Fields. This is from NBC Sports Chicago. I mean, this is a statistic, but as cited by NBC Sports Chicago.
All right, let's hear it.
Out of 40 quarterbacks who threw at least 50 passes in the fourth quarter this season, Fields ranked 39th. Let me say that again. Out of 40 quarterbacks who threw at least 50 out of 40 who threw at least 50 passes in the fourth quarter this season, Fields ranked 39th in passer rating at 53.4. Only Bailey Zappi was worse. Woo! Fields ranked 28th in yards, tied for 26 in touchdown passes, and was tied for the second most interceptions in the final quarter. Hold on, there's more.
Woo. There's more.
31 quarterbacks threw at least 20 passes this season while trailing with 4 minutes or less remaining in the game. Fields ranked 29th out of 31. He ranked 29th in passer rating and 28th in completion percentage and was tied with Jordan Love and Aiden O'Connell for the most interceptions. So Fields was awful when the chips were down, okay? So maybe that contributes to that 10-28 record you're talking about. However, again, all I'm saying about Justin Fields and all I've said about Justin Fields and all the Fields truthers in Chicago are saying about Justin Fields is while he may have his flaws, where he may still be raw in some areas, or lots of them, or he may just not be good. And that's right. Perfectly plausible. He may not be good.
Which would be on brand.
But Chicago.
Which would be on brand for the 2021 quarterback class, right? The entire class.
Absolutely.
Class.
But Chicago, over the past several years, has not been the best environment to determine whether or not he's good, okay? Because juxtapose that, and again, I don't want to get too into Chicago in their future just
I was going to say, I feel like the preacher's about to give us a transition.
No, but juxtapose, I'll just say briefly before we get into just how good Fields is or isn't, juxtapose that with the circumstances that Caleb Williams or some other quarterback, and that's an important qualification, is going to walk into in Chicago. Where Ryan Poles is in the nesting process right now, like Sarah and Oni did for each of our 3 children, in the nest, getting the room ready, getting it painted just right, getting it decorated right,
just get it done.
The nesting process, okay?
Yep.
Whereas
Go
Justin
over there.
Fields,
pick that up.
Justin Fields,
put that down. Over there.
Justin Fields had to struggle so that the next guy could flourish. He warmed up the slot machine for the next guy. You remember that reference, right? Nobody want to warm up the slot machine for the next person, all right? And so all I'm saying is I believe that there is more to Justin Fields than what we've seen in Chicago, whether it's because of coaching, whether it's because of personnel or lack thereof, okay? I think there's better days ahead for him. And so you put him in Pittsburgh with an Arthur Smith, okay, with talent around him on the perimeter. Man, look, if Mike Williams signs in Pittsburgh, going back to what you were saying about this being a new day in Pittsburgh and them being urgent and aggressive in a way that they aren't traditionally, let Mike Williams sign in Pittsburgh, okay? So now you get you go into Pittsburgh with an Arthur Smith, with a better supporting cast than the one you had in Chicago, with a defense that wins games for you. It's like the fact that Justin Fields, who I would put in the conversation, if not number one, and this may be blasphemous, but I don't think I've seen a better running quarterback than Justin Fields in my lifetime. I don't think I've seen a better running quarterback. Because you can say guys you can say guys are faster. You can say guys are bigger. I don't know anybody that big and that fast.
The combination.
So and like this dude was hurting people the way he would run over people, okay? And running past them and around them and through them. His elusiveness was Vickish. His physicality was Newtonish, okay? And so I don't know why, for the life of me, why from day one all the way till his last day on this team, they weren't properly utilizing and exploiting the gift that he had above all others. Instead, they tried to make him oftentimes somebody that he wasn't. And maybe that speaks to his limitations, Michael. And maybe that's all he's ever going to be.
There it is.
Maybe that's all he's ever going to be. But all I'm saying is, I don't think we can say for sure that he's a bust. We can't say for sure that he's a bust. And we can't say for sure that he's bad because of the circumstances that he was subjected to in Chicago. And yes, that is me giving him a pass. Maybe a better pass than he's ever thrown. But yes,
I was going to say, go ahead and use a line about him.
I'm consistent.
Give him that line, too.
I refuse to believe that we have seen the best of Justin Fields.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't think you can be a good quarterback. You cannot be a good quarterback if the best thing that you do was run the football, then you're not a good quarterback in professional football. Now, if it's
the best thing that he does, and he does it better than anybody else. But also, okay,
still,
but if your coach, if your coach ain't smart enough to put you in position to do what you do well, what does that say? What does that say?
I'm a coach. I'm not gonna blame the coaches. I'm a coach I've been told. This is what I've been told. This is my quarterback. Justin Fields is my quarterback. And if my quarterback is the best running quarterback I've ever seen in my lifetime, I agree with Michael Smith, best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm trying to disagree with you. I can't. Because, you're right. Lamar is faster. Michael Vick is faster. But Justin Fields is as fast or a notch below, but more physical than both of them. And Cam Newton was more physical than Justin Fields, but not as fast. So you put it all together, right. But if the best thing he does, my quarterback, is run the football, that's just not enough. That's not the position.
But see, he ain't your quarterback.
Calls for more. I need more than
that.
It
absolutely does. But he's also not your quarterback. And therein lies the problem with Chicago. Or with Justin Fields. He was not their quarterback. He was not the guy that Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus drafted.
And
if
that's the way
Matt Eberflus had drafted Justin Fields, they would have brought in Keenan Allen for Justin Fields.
Well,
or
can I tell you
they
this?
would be out the door with him.
If they think that way, I'm not sure they do, but if they do think that way, and anyone who thinks that way will not be successful. Look, check your ego, suppress your ego. You will be in, whether you're a football coach or whether you're an editor or whether you are running, you're the head of a law firm or anything like that. You're going to have people who you didn't bring in who have value and are successful and are talented, and you got to get to where you want to go. You got to work with them.
But Mike, I don't think it's ego. I don't think it's ego. I don't think it's ego. No, it's not ego. It's self-preservation. No, I think it's more self-preservation. And here's why I say that. Okay, now just understand. I could cape up for Justin Fields, right? Which is what I've been doing, right? But I'm also acknowledging that what he has put on film or on paper leaves a lot to be desired from a passing perspective, right? So if you're Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus especially, but even Ryan Poles, if you don't know for sure that Justin Fields is the guy, you don't know that for sure, because there are plenty of examples. I mean, of organizations that drafted a player and moved on from him, even if it was their player, because they didn't think he was that guy, right? In this instance, if you're Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, and you don't know that Justin Fields is the guy, and he's going into his fourth year, and next year is his rookie option, and you coming up on having to make either shit or get off the pot. You got to make a long-term commitment to my guy, or you got to let him, or you got to move on. And this is somebody else's draft choice. You're not going to let a guy you're uncertain about cost you your job. I don't think that's ego. I think that's self-preservation. If Justin Fields is as bad as you and others think he is, why would Ryan Poles stick with somebody else's guy and say, you know what? But he's got potential, and we don't know, but we're going to see because, We want to do right by him and we want to give him another shot. Now you're like, look, if you're going to get fired, you're going to lose with your guys or lose your way.
Yeah, lose on your own terms. Yeah.
You lose on your own terms, yeah. So that part I understand. I'm just saying I don't think he ever really had a chance to maximize his potential. I think in Pittsburgh, here's another reason why I'm not buying this idea that Russell Wilson is the starter and Justin Fields is the backup in March. Because if Pittsburgh were content with Russell Wilson, number one, they're paying him $1.2 million. So it's easy to say that now and it's easy to change it later. If Pittsburgh were content with Russell Wilson and they were good to go, and he was going to be the starter and there was no competition, then why did they trade for Justin Fields? It was pennies.
Smart. They're
exactly.
Smart. It's just smart.
Exactly.
It's just
developing. You have your guy right now, your starter, your clear starter, and Russell
Oh,
Wilson.
stop with the clear starter. Okay. And yeah, just like they intend to sign him to a long-term deal after this season, too.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Oh, it's March. It's March.
That was a nice touch. That's very performative. That's very performative
shrewd
of them.
Very shrewd. Yes.
Yeah, we
say whatever you got to say
to it.
Say whatever you got to say.
That's right. Everything you can say it all right now.
Tell me you love me. I love you. That's like, okay, you say whatever you got to say. Say whatever.
But they got a guy
35,
and then they got a guy 25. So 35 for right now, 25 for the future. Theoretically, it's good business. And you said you've known Omar Khan for a long time. You need to reach out to Omar Khan and say, hey, you're doing a hell of a job, man.
How you know I haven't?
I didn't even know
How
this.
you know he didn't? How you know he didn't consult me? How you know he didn't consult me? By the way,
he might have.
Sidebar.
We were talking last week. Go ahead. What's your sidebar?
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say when we were talking last week about the Steelers and how they've changed. I didn't even know at the time that Omar has changed the way business is being done with
and
the
he's
Steelers.
A lifer.
I mean, like tangibly.
And he's also a lifer, which is crazy, right? He's been there his whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin
career.
Colbert, his predecessor, Kevin Colbert brought in Kenny Pickett. I think that was one of his last acts as general manager.
I think it was the last draft pick, yeah.
But some of the scouts that Colbert brought in, a lot of those guys were not renewed. I'm not rooting for anybody to lose positions or lose income, but a lot of those scouts were not renewed by Omar Khan. He brought in a new crop, just a new way of doing business there on the south side in Pittsburgh. And even though he's been there for a long time, he has different ideas of how the Steelers should be run. And I think you're seeing some evidence of that right now. I didn't even realize that at the time when I said
well, no,
it.
you're just clairvoyant. You're just clairvoyant. You just know your shit.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying all that. I'm not saying all that.
But look.
Maybe during football season with my bets, but not right now.
Okay, but speaking of bets, the Steelers are hedging theirs. You know what I mean? Like Russell Wilson, sure, they could say he's a starter, and his body of work he deserves to be named the starter. And they got him in there by telling him what he needed to hear to feel like he was going to be the starter. But they brought Justin Fields in to compete / develop. If it turns out that it takes him a season to develop and maybe they get a compensatory pick on the back end and no harm, no foul if he walks in free agency after this year. But it would surprise me if Russell Wilson held this job, based on what I think I know about Russell Wilson and what I've seen from Russell Wilson over the past couple of years, and I understand in Denver, there were a lot of funky things going on. The same thing I'm saying about Chicago and Fields can apply to Russ in Denver in many respects, okay? I recognize that. I believe that Fields, before this season is done, will be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But this is the sidebar. I read off all those stats, and you cited all those stats. The most damning thing about Justin Fields continues to be that the biggest Ohio State homer that I know does not ride for Justin Fields. That continues to be the biggest shred of evidence.
What does that tell you? Come on, what does that tell you?
that you take those Buckeye blinders off when it comes to talking about Justin Fields. That's the biggest. That should convince me of nothing else. That I'm wrong about Justin Fields.
That's all you need to know.
If nothing else.
There you go, man. There you go.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.